When we sit, we're sitting to create understanding, to directly perceive, to experience, to know that all the freedom and happiness that we seek is right here. And you can, maybe it's even more, three prongs, but there certainly is another prong where if you've got a hunch that something else will provide happiness or freedom, you've got to go figure it out. You've got to go try to get that until you can understand, nope, that's not going to do it. That's not going to be enough. So that this work can stand alone. So that this work, because that's really what's happening. It's saying in the non-dual state, everything that comes to one's life is either an article to deepen practice, to deepen the understanding, or it's the delight of existence. And it can't become the delight of existence until the recognition that you don't have to do anything is fully understood, really. And it comes in waves. I do agree with that. As you deepen your understanding around certain sort of subjects in one's life. But when we sit, we're going to sit, we try to understand the essential nature of something. But if you're still like, I just love Fritos. Like I just love Fritos so much. I don't really like Fritos personally, but like you believe that like when you have Fritos, like it just creates this lasting bliss. And it's like, all right, I mean, yeah, I know I gotta go have Fritos again. I can't wait to have Fritos again. You're eating the Fritos. Oh, I can't wait to go get Fritos again. Like this is gonna get in the way, Fritos. But what's wonderful about this work is that, well, what if Fritos are great? What if Fritos do provide enough lasting bliss and happiness? Well, then perfect. Problem solved. Case closed. Be a Frito eater. You are free to eat Fritos. But then if we say, no, I'm going to deny Fritos, I'm only going to try to concentrate on non-dual awakening. How will you ever know that Fritos can't do it for you? Now, some things you can maybe get away with. You can realize, yeah, I don't need Fritos, but the real Fritos, the ones that might make you feel free if you go to them, that's part of taking this work throughout your life. So that when you have the Fritos and you're like, man, you know, I don't like what Fritos are providing. I don't like this clinging. I don't like this longing sensation. I don't even like the way I feel while I'm eating it. My fingers are greasy. My mouth gets dry. It's so salty. My belly doesn't feel good. I eat them too fast. All of a sudden, you start to realize I don't want anything to do with Fritos. Or, at the very least, I can take or leave Fritos. So you may have areas in your life where you have some a Frito relationship going on, and to explore that from a non-dual mindset. So it's the other side of the coin, because until you realize freedom isn't in the Frito, freedom is in you, and you've given it to the Frito. This is a very important concept. Some people, they see Fritos, they don't see freedom. You see Fritos, you see freedom. But every single time you eat the bag of Fritos, it's not always freedom. Therefore, the freedom is from you, projected onto the Fritos. The Fritos do not inherently carry freedom. And so sometimes we have to go into life to realize, hey, it's not actually for me. This interest is not for me anymore. I've lost interest. This will create more energy for sitting still, more peace of mind, so that when we do sit still, we're not wondering about Fritos. It's like you can see the bag pop up in your mind. How are you going to get that image out of your mind? Breathing exercises? Give me a break. Forward folds? Give me a break. That image of Fritos burnt into your mind is very, very secure there because you love Fritos still. You think they have your freedom inside that bag. You're not going to give up that image in your mind with forward folding and breathing. So sometimes we have to navigate and explore, take this conscious awareness into the process of these things in life that we think might provide freedom. That's what the Frito metaphor is representing. Things in our life that we think will provide lasting freedom or love or happiness, whatever. We have to understand the Fritos are not freedom. That's a false truth, a false knowing. We've got advertisements built right into our own mind. They don't need to put the commercial on there for some of our own attachments. So this is the other side of the coin. The side of the coin that we work on when we're here is understanding once I don't want Fritos anymore, or once I realize that my freedom, I still may enjoy a Frito now and then. Once I realize that I can take or leave the Fritos, they can come and go into my life and out of my life. It's wonderful. I just had wonderful grapes right now at the market. They had the really, really fresh grapes. Gosh, they're good. But if I go looking for that same grape, grapes go out of season. Sometimes the grapes have been sitting on the shelf too long. They're mushy now. They've got the seeds in there. They got the ones with the pesticides on. I don't want to eat those. But the grapes that I had today, I wish they had those. I really hope they have those grapes again. That's the problem. These grapes are in season. Next time I go to the grocery store, it might be peaches, nectarines, cherries. This is freedom. Love these grapes right now. Next time, who knows? I never need to look for those grapes again. That's freedom. I don't have that impression of that wonderful grape in my mind. Next time I go to the grocery store, the delight of what's available. So once we do some work removing my need for grape loving. I don't need to love the grape in the future. I think you're all enjoying this metaphor now that I stopped using Frito. We work on that in life. What do we work on here when we're sitting still? Because as we get rid of the want for Fritos, the wants for grapes, fresh grapes, very punchy, they're wonderful right now. Get rid of that clinging, that craving. What's in the wake? If we're not careful, we end up in this sort of existential nothing, almost like an apathy. And this is what the meditation is for, because instead, we learn that there's a beautiful, beautiful love and light enmeshed, interlinked, really woven, really as one with our existence. Our existence is blissful, inherent. But then the existence says, ooh, I'm a body, and I'm this body, and this body loves grapes, especially these grapes right now, the green ones. Oh, perfect. Now, this body has the highs and lows of existence. But before the body, before the grape, before the body, is just existence inherent. And existence inherent is blissful. This is what we come to understand when we sit. Existence inherent is blissfulness. This is a catch-22 because if you still want grapes, if you still want Fritos, you are denied this recognition. They both actually come together. They happen at the same time. The longing for grapes, the longing for an exciting, adventurous life, the longing for Fritos. Oh, those Fritos. Denies the recognition that existence is inherently blissful. So you work at the thing from both ends. You learn to get over your Fritos and your grapes, not want them in the future. And also seeking in the present moment that existence by itself is blissful. And the two will expose each other. Because when you try to just sit still and appreciate the bliss that is inherent to existence, what do you think you're going to be thinking about? Fritos, grapes. And if you don't believe, if you don't know that the grapes don't have happiness in them, you'll just stay thinking about grapes. Can't wait till my next time I get to have grapes. But if you know, oh, the grapes that are in my fridge, they're very wonderful. But I don't know if I'm going to get to have those grapes again if I go to the grocery store. This is how you can free your heart. Free your heart to enjoy the bliss of just being. So become watchful of your mind. Become watchful of the stories and images and words that project themselves in the mind. And try to understand those things, certainly not the ones in your mind, but the ones that are out in the world, should you get them. They don't have the peace, the freedom, the happiness, the lasting kind that you're looking for. Try to understand that you're yet you still want it. You still have recognition that it exists somewhere. Where would you find it? Where would you find lasting peace, lasting freedom? Only when the mind does not create images can you discover it. Can it be revealed? Any image in the mind obscures lasting freedom for something much more fleeting and cheap. You give up absolute freedom and bliss, and instead you get promised temporary reprieve from your problems. So as you sit, grow watchful of your mind. Understand all the promises of your thoughts and feelings. Do not contain lasting freedom. All the next times, all the if onlys, all the when the moment is right, all the promises of your thoughts and feelings will never bring lasting freedom when I'm enlightened. Mm-mm. You'll never become enlightened. You are already light. You are already awake. Grow watchful of your mind. It is difficult. How powerful the Fritos and the grapes are. Story on top of story. Create a dullness and a stupor, a fogginess of focus. We sit here for 45, 50 minutes, but you only need a few moments of perception. You're only looking for a few moments of understanding. They carry the whole thing. Don't be discouraged by the fogginess. Understand it. Understand how habitualized you have become to chase the next image in the mind, the next bag of Fritos, the next crisp grape. That's all it is. Hopping from one image in the mind to the next. You're learning how to look elsewhere. You're learning how to look beyond your mind to something lasting, to something much more stable and secure than the fleeting promises of thoughts and feelings. What were you looking at now? Were you looking at the lasting freedom of being oneself, or another bag of freedom? It's important to recognize that aversion is the same as craving. Very often we try to get away from images in the mind. We try to negate images in the mind. It's the same as wanting them. Living obscured not wanting, aversion, is just the absence of something. I would like to not have this runny nose. That's the same as wanting health. I would like to not have this sore knee. It's the same as wanting a strong knee. I would like to not have this empty bag of Frito chips. That's the same as wanting a new bag of Frito chips. You cannot grow an aversion to life. That's the same as wanting undisturbed peace. An image in the mind. What would undisturbed peace look like to you? Aversion and craving both obstruct pure awareness. Watch your mind. Understand. Whatever it shows you, whatever it presents, lasting freedom cannot be found there. And then dare to look elsewhere. What were you just looking at? Is lasting happiness there? The freedom beyond time? Is it there? If your dream came true? Consider moving on. Consider seeing beyond the mind. The worldly one skips and dances from one craving to the next. Endlessly hungry for the feelings wrapped up in the images. Always next time. But this work is about this time. This work is about beyond time. Already, always. But then you would say, but I don't feel lasting peace and freedom. If it's always here, why do I not feel it now? You do feel it, but you also feel the want and craving and aversion of the images in the mind. Remove those, then we'll have that question answered. Then we can have that conversation. Temporary wants, cravings, aversions, they're coming and going. But they promise you lasting peace. That's crazy. Even the wanting is temporary. The aversion is temporary. We're so quick to forget them. Try to understand. Believe you can watch something beyond them. That there is something complete and whole and true and lasting, readily accessible beyond those things, beyond the fleeting cravings and aversions, the picture show of the mind. Peer into that knowing as you peer and watch into that knowing. You can see right through the promises of thoughts and feelings. Lasting peace, uncaused happiness. These words should bring no image to mind. These words should tell you how to swim up for a breath of fresh air when you have been submerged underwater. Dare to go beyond the mind. Dare to go to the abode of the Master. What were you watching? Does it have lasting peace, freedom, happiness? Or will you have to go and get it? If you have to go and get it, and it's not lasting, lasting peace, wholeness is beyond time, beyond your mind. Understand everything in the mind lacks. Dare to see through the promises of thoughts and feelings and exist. Relax your body. Welcome to sign up from the call. Otherwise, I'll pause the recording and we'll do questions.